being late.
All right, welcome everyone to another edition of Deconversion Stories. And I don't know what happened to Mikey. He might show up. I don't know. I've texted him. He hasn't answered me yet. So why do I pay him? I keep asking myself now why the hell I keep paying this guy. But anyways, Mikey is my producer, as you guys know. He's not with us for now. We'll see what happens. Anyways, today on the show, my friend Jackson Wagner over here, also known as Kilted Atheist, over on the Twitter there, which I have, by the way, links for his Twitter account and also his Facebook account if you want to or feel so inclined to become friends with Jackson. But Jackson, welcome to the show, man.
Yeah, thanks a lot, man. Great to be here. If anything goes wrong, we're blaming Mike.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're going to do. As you guys know, we do have the hashtag coins game that goes on because of the coin noise that my phone makes. So when you hear that sucker go off, you can take a drink. I probably will not be able to hit the thingy every single time it goes off. So I have no idea where they are now because Mikey's rearranged everything. So I don't know. But hey, welcome everyone to the show. All you guys out there in the chat, thanks for being here. I hope you guys enjoyed today's show. Basically, Jackson, what I do here is I chat with people about their journey away from whatever belief systems they were once a part of. And kind of how that went, you know, how those dominoes started falling, and you woke up one day and went, you know what, I don't believe this crap anymore. So kind of take us on that journey there. And like I said, if I have any questions, I'll put up my hand and like a good kid and ask a question.
Awesome.
By the way, guys, sorry, one quick sec. By the way, guys, Jackson is from my neck of the woods as well, except he's over on the island. We have Vancouver Island, and he's over there. So we're almost neighbors, just so you guys know.
That's right. Well, the West Coast is always called the best coast, but we're the best of the best coast. unless you're buying gas.
Yeah, well, God, Lord, it's like $2 a liter here now.
I
know. I usually put in $40 and it gets me almost 3/4 of a tank. I had to put in 50 to get the same amount today. It's like, what the hell?
Yeah. I'm lucky I can walk to work, so that's handy. But ouch.
Yeah. I probably could too, but it would take longer.
That's right there. Proof there's no God. Yeah, I have to walk to work. Proof there's no God.
That's right. That's right. So yeah, so brother, take us on that journey.
Well, when I want to say, like, when I was born, I was X, but I grew up as a Presbyterian. You know, and it was the quintessential. I grew up in Southern Ontario. It was like the one-room church, so everybody's in there. All the Sunday funny, you know, come to meet and stuff. And as I was getting into my teen years, I was thinking about you know, being a minister and talking to the elders of the church, that kind of dealy bob.
Wow.
And you know, obviously, as you get into teen years, you start getting exposed to more things. So you know, like there was always the cliche things like, talk to me about dinosaurs. Like, where are dinosaurs? Well, they're in Genesis, but the Bible doesn't call them dinosaurs. They're big animals.
The behemoths, I think what they call them or something.
Right. Teenage brain, I can handle that. Oh yeah, so like, okay, so talk to me like about Noah. Why did he kill everybody? Like, why did God kill everybody but Noah? Because they're bad. Well, I got a neighbor I don't like. He's pretty bad. So, it was a little harder to take when you're trying to wrap around like social cues and morality and stuff as a growing into adulthood, and chip by chip things just didn't work out. The satanic panic was a big thing, and I remember we had one of the teachers at my high school had a Christian club, and they were doing debates on the evils of heavy metal, and I had discovered Ozzy at the time, and Ozzy was awesome, still is awesome. I mean,
yeah,
a miracle of nature is Ozzy, and so I ended up debating for the why music, heavy metal is awesome and not bad. And by the time I was done, I started thinking all the stuff that's being said isn't making sense. The books I'm reading aren't making sense. Maybe I'm just doing the wrong one. So then I tried Baptists. I tried Pentecostal. Oh my! I even tried the Jehovah's Witness. Went to one of their Kingdom Hall things for a little while. And that was a trip. Started looking around. There's still that sense of, maybe this version is wrong, but there's got to be something. And then I started doing the psychic fair thing, and thanks be to whatever's out there that in the age of mullets there was no video cameras that were out, because I was doing the psychic fair circuit talking about ghosts and things I had encountered, so that had convinced me that this stuff was real. And as I started having the whole like ghosts and monsters debunked, it was just a moment in time before, God's the Holy Spirit. A spirit's a ghost. If there's no ghost, there's no God. Well, my life's a shambles now. What am I going to do with myself?
Right.
Yeah, and that was I want to say, like,
is that
about the time I hit.
Sorry,
go ahead.
Quick question: when you said that your life was in shambles, is that because of the realization that there probably isn't a God and no afterlife and all that sort of thing, or?
Well, that hit it. That added to it, because by the time I was 20, I was already married. It was that whole, well, I love you and we're having sex, so obviously this is, we got to make this right by Jeebus. And,
right.
No consideration for I'm an incredibly hormonal young adult, so everything is love. That's that where sex is coming into it. So obviously that's love. Ha. Nope. God. Bam. So, as statistics would dictate, that marriage went left to center in a hurry. But as everything was just not working out, because I was trying to force it into this idea that in order to be a good person and do right, this is the rule book that I should be following.
Right.
And it was, if you had something that was a rule book that everybody could agree on, but it couldn't. So it just wasn't working for me anymore. And the more I thought about it, the more I read different versions of it, and then had different preachers and different pastors and ministers tell me their versions and why where I was wrong, where they are is right. I was like, I'm done. And by the time I was about, I want to say like 25-ish, 26-ish, I definitely thought that religion was out. I was still open to something out there, but
sure.
The idea of, God, done. It just didn't work. So then I was stuck in a community sense of people who are all telling me I'm going to cook for all time, right. But I was okay with it.
Eternal flame, right?
Oh heck, I've been sunburnt before. It can't be that bad.
What I want to know is how the hell does that even work, right? Like if it's just your soul, well, you don't have any nerve endings anymore. So how the hell does it? How do you feel anything?
Well, I remember I was talking to one of the ministers, and I'm like, so 2 weeks ago when I was still in the flock, I'm good. I'm doubting, but I can be saved. I'm good. But now that I've decided I'm not into this, everything that was good about me is now no longer good about me, which didn't help his case. It was like, well, yeah, you're not good anymore. Yeah, but when I was dating your daughter, I was great. But now that I'm not dating your daughter and I don't believe, I'm not good? Precisely. I think your reasoning is flawed.
Just a tad. Because you're the exact same person. You just don't have the belief anymore.
Well, and I had seen in my journey towards ministry, I had gone to conventions. I had gone, I was getting into like the United Church of Canada, which is like the diet Coke of of the religious circles. But I would go to their conventions and just watch what these people were like as people behind the scenes, and talk about a day and night. We used to, the only Sunday Christians, and it was. I mean, they liked to party. They were good at partying. But the stuff that was being said at the pulpit that people would be condemned for doing, they were all doing. So I just couldn't run with it anymore.
Kind of makes you scratch your head.
I didn't feel good about myself. Oh yeah. You just, and then once it's gone, you're like, well, now what do I do? What will make me a good person now? Because so much of your identity, I wouldn't say like your personality, but so much of what you consider as being a good person was tied up in this notion.
Yeah.
So once it's gone, you're like, am I good? Like, I'm pretty sure I don't feel like I can get away with bad things, but am I good? And that's a weird question to ask yourself.
Yeah. Well, you're conditioned to think that you can only be good if you have this belief, because he's watching you, so you have to be good. But inside, are you fighting with any like these wanting to do things that are considered bad, but really aren't in a normal social scale, right? So, it's weird. It's weird.
You go out and have a young adult weekend doing young adult fun stuff. But the next weekend when you got to go to church, you're like, ooh, how do I talk myself out of this? Like, I was lucky. I never fall into the genres that you had to have the confessionals, but it was, if you're sinning, you got to let people know. Well, why? And you got to say you're sorry. To who? Like, if God knows my thoughts and I just feel bad, is that enough? Is my guilt not savory enough? Do I got to put some more sauce on that guilt? And
that's right.
It was a wake up one day and really think about it and go, this is just out to lunch. Like, the best Hollywood writers couldn't write this kind of thing and make it good.
Well, personally, I think the entire thing, and I've said this many, many times, one of the biggest issues I have with the whole, sinning and stuff like that, and needing a savior or whatever, because of all the human sins and stuff like that, is the whole thing. If this deity that they love so much is all knowing, then he already knew from the get-go everything that was going to happen, including Adam and Eve falling in the garden. He knew ahead of time, which in essence, that makes it a setup.
Yeah. Well, when I was, studying and stuff, I remember I was about 14, 15 saying, if the big issue was that Adam and Eve didn't know any better, then how could they be culpable? How could they be guilty of a crime if they didn't know any better?
Yeah.
Like, you wouldn't, if your kid did something. Yeah. It's like, well, I'm God and I don't want you to know what right is. Okay, then we don't know what right is. We can't by default do wrong if we don't know what right is. There's no metric.
That's a good way.
Okay, but if you eat that stuff, then you'll know what right is. Cool, but I still have no idea what right is. So I don't know that it's wrong to not eat it. I don't know that it's right to eat it. I'm just kind of hungry that day, and it's the closest tree. Oh, well, the serpent told you. I'm talking to a serpent. I don't know if that's right. Like that whole, how do you measure what is right if you have no concept of right or wrong in the first place? And the guy just looked at me, the minister at the time. He's like, well, yeah, you have to try to let's read this chapter and let's really discuss it. I'm like, nah, I don't. I really don't want to. I'm going to sit with this for a while.
Yeah.
No.
Plus, I don't need to hear your spin on the whole thing. Thank you very much.
Well, you get taught right off the bat from the first time you go into Sunday school that the person at the front of the room, like the buck stops there. If they say it, it's got to be right. But you're never told why. It just got to be right.
Right.
So then, as you, like in my first relationship, hey, honey, like this is how life is. Why? Because I say so.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
what's that mean?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
luckily, like we're both from the church, so because I say so works right now. But that's didn't work for very long.
Yeah, probably not. You used to hear shit like that from your parents too, right?
Yeah.
Why,
right.
Mom?
Well, I'm right. Why? Because I say so.
Yeah. Which was always kind of a shit thing for me to hear. It's like, what do you mean? Because you say so? That's not a reason.
Yeah.
It sounds like it just annoys you or something.
Well, and I'm married now, and when I married my current wife, she came with two awesome kids that I met them when they were like 4 and 5 years old each. I have two daughters, and
nice.
I said right off the bat that like they're over 20 now. So old, but
I hear you, brother. I hear you.
I said, I told them even when they were little, we would talk about rules of the house, because I spent a career in the military. I was a military guy, so I had some, here's rules of the house. And I said,
Right.
like, Mom and I will never tell you to do something without doing our best to explain why we want you to do it. If you have to make your bed,
or not.
because just make your bed. If we're going to tell you, don't do that, like, I'm not going to take your hand over the stove and say, here's what hot is. Ha ha! But
yeah, that happened to me.
It was, it was our age bracket. You want to know what hot is? Touch the red thing. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's what hot is.
No, no. Yeah, but I was a little powerful.
Well, then you have like, hey, look at that girl. She's hot. How?
Yeah, don't touch.
Yeah, I don't get it. How's she alive?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So it was, but to break away from the idea that authority is how it works it was hard. It was a weird dynamic to grow out of, and then getting into the pseudo spiritual world of like the psychic fair, the everybody trend of like the late 80s and the early 90s. Remember that stuff?
I was there too. Yeah. Even dated a Wiccan.
Oh,
called myself Wiccan.
Oh yeah, here's a crystal pyramid, and if you hold this in your hand and do this, it's gonna be great. And like, okay,
I still have an amethyst pyramid somewhere around here, but it looks cool. So
one of my daughters is she's into crystals, and she really loves them. For their beauty as crystals, and for other things. But it's like, I'm not going to tell you what I think in a way that would be perfect. I would say, look, I went through the phase. I went through it. And if this is what's helping you kind of deal with life and it gives you a focal point, awesome. You're old enough that we can have honest conversations about why we think these things do the things you think they do. But it's what she's into. I'm loving it. She's into something. It gives her focus. I'm certainly not going to go, hey. If she spends the rest of her life thinking, crystals are awesome, there are worse vices.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, for sure. Just as long as she doesn't pick up that they actually heal things, like that's a problem.
Yeah. We've crossed that bridge.
Good. So clearly, she.
I have a headache. Oh, I have.
Yeah, just put a quartz on your forehead.
No, like. Yeah. All right. Cool. And in the early stages, it was, well, here's, these are good for that. And it was, well, how do you know that that's what it's good for? Let's see if this is going to work, really. And a little bit of, minor Socratic methods / let's actually try some experimentation. And it's more, well, they're pretty, they're nice, and it gives me something to focus my thoughts on. All right, groovy, I can get behind that.
Sure. Sure, yeah, because I think to believe that sort of thing can actually end up being harmful in some ways.
Yeah, yeah.
Here's Iron Charioteer likes your shirt. Nobody can be polite as fuck, guaranteed. It's a Canadian joke thing, Iron Charioteer. That's all it is.
Oh
Oh, and
yeah.
one other thing I wanted
Well,
to
there's
address.
a
I don't know if Hellbound Hillbilly's still in the chat. 350 US a gallon? Yeah, well, there's 3.78 liters to a gallon. So that would make $8 per gallon in Canadian. So there you go.
Yep. Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah, I know.
The shirt is from a company in Ontario that's run by a veteran that was on I think the same tour that I was on. I spent almost a year in Afghanistan, so he came up with a military themed / patriotic apparel store. It's called Copper for Life. The guy's great, and some of his stuff is pretty awesome.
Let's see if I could sell some of my shirts through a store. Probably not. Of course, I have to get them made, but yeah, I'll be doing that soon. A bunch of shit is going to go up on a merch store.
Right on.
Yeah,
well, I run a full-time kilt shop, and it's with the current global situation, bringing inventory in sucks.
Yeah,
it's hard.
Like materials for
just the wait times, the wait times, the delays. Having to be very, very polite and explaining to people. Yep, yeah, you have to wait. Sorry, can't make a kilt out of air. I tried. It didn't work very well.
The Emperor's New Kilt.
Yeah, it's the notional. It's the kilt on faith.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. How the hell did you get into starting making kilts, anyways?
By the first regiment I belonged to was a Highland regiment. I wore my first kilt on a parade, and after the parade, we ended up at a pub. Went in the pub by myself, while with the rest of the unit. Walked out not by myself, and I never looked back after that. And then, so I've worn kilts pretty much nonstop for over 34 years. When I was in the forces, I'd go to work in a kilt, change on base, go home in a kilt, and discovered it was cheaper to make them than it was to buy them. And then when I retired from the forces, I decided that I like making them enough. I'm going to make a company out of it. I got a business partner, and he and I have been going for the last 8 years now.
Awesome. How many do you figure you sell every year?
Oh crap. I know that I stopped counting kilts that I have personally made when I broke 1,000. We average about 160 kilts custom made and out the door per year. We're generally, like, our lineup right now is about 15 weeks for a custom project.
15
weeks.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So if you wanted to kilt for the summer, like say August, now's the time.
Yeah, order one now. Yeah, so you get those cool breeze flowing.
But we ship kilts all over the world. We ship kilts back to Scotland. We ship kilts to every state, in the Union down south, to every province, to most countries. It's been pretty great.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Hellbound Hillbilly, I'm not sure what the exchange rate is, but it's not $12.
Nah, it's about $1.70.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, no. What is it?
Well, that's for pounds. Sorry.
Yeah.
We're doing everything in pounds.
I think we're just like 74 cents.
Something like that.
US.
Some of my US clients said they.
So I don't know. I can't remember. It's still super expensive. Much more than you're paying.
Yep.
Canadians don't know how to storm a parliament like the U.S. Nope, but we burnt down your White House once. Long time ago.
Oh yeah.
In a galaxy far, far away. No, I'm just kidding. So with you leaving the whole religion thing, how did that affect like your personal life with like family and friends and stuff like that? Were they quite religious, or did they sort of just like
Well,
whatever?
family wasn't too bad. For the longest time, I kind of kept it to myself because
Mm-hmm.
there was still that sense of family's pretty good. It's the idea of like, well, you say you don't believe, but I know you believe. Like, okay, great. You know, they're all back in Ontario, so it's like, okay, you're 3,000 miles from me, so whatever floats your boat. But I lost a handful of friends because you had friends through the faith, and that was it. It was interesting in the military because in the military, when I enlisted, you had to declare a religion on your enrollment papers. So I
Sure,
went
yeah.
with Zen Buddhist, right? Because it's it's a military-based faith system that has no dogma. Like Zen is just Zen; it just is.
Yeah.
So it left my instructional staff scratching their heads. Like, do you need special stuff? I'm like, 20 minutes by myself, at least one day a week. Okay, well, great. I got me that perfect stress relief time away from everybody else.
Nice. Oh, Iron Charioteer knows about pea meal bacon, which is very, very big out in Eastern Canada. You can get it here, but it's harder to find on the West Coast.
Yeah.
And pea meal bacon's awesome, though.
Oh, I miss P-mail. I haven't even thought about P-mail. Oh,
I know.
nostalgia.
It's got tryptophan. Yes, tryptophan can be calming.
Yeah.
But contrary
But
to popular
it
belief, it
was,
won't put you to sleep.
yeah. But it was really strange to say to a lot of people, oh, they'd ask, are you going to come to church? No. Well, why not? I got better things to do, and
Yeah.
going into churches would like literally now, if I go into a church, I feel uncomfortable. I see no, aside from I've gone to some very Gothic cathedrals in the UK and in Europe to see the
Mhm.
architecture,
Yeah, me
crazy
too.
cool stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But to walk into a church, it gives me the heebie-jeebies. I see no good in it.
Well, like you said, the architecture is kind of cool. There's a lot of neat stuff there. I can't remember the name of
Yeah,
I think it's a church, or it's like an old Gothic type church, or they just, I can't remember. But there's actually an alien, like the HR Giger alien, like the gargoyles they have on them,
yeah,
and there's one with the alien on
yeah.
it, which I thought was kind of cool. Thought that was really neat. I wonder how many people kind of look at that and go, "Oh, that's Carrie," and not knowing what it is.
Uh, I think it's in France, and it might be the only reason I have to go to France would be to
I've been
see
to
that
France.
piece of architecture.
Let's find out where it is. Let's look it up. Alien Gargoyle. Let's see where that sucker is. Yeah, oh, yeah, it looks totally cool too. It's Paisley Abbey. Oh, an explanation emerges for
Oh,
how
in
the
the
12th
UK?
century, yeah, how the 12th century Paisley Abbey ended up with a alien gargoyle. Well, it was added long after the castle was built, guys, or
Yeah,
the abbey was built. Long after, when they rebuilt it and they touched it up and stuff and fixed it up. That's when they added that.
nice.
Yeah.
Wow,
They
the
make it
answer is
sound like
time travel. That's
yeah, yeah. Actually, what's funny? I was at band practice today, um, and the subject of time travel came up, and I said something that kind of rubbed my guitar player the wrong way a little bit. I said you could probably, if time travel ever becomes a thing, which is possible, if you look at quantum physics, it's possible. I won't go into all the details there, but oh, that's why Mikey's not here. He's doing the charity stream right now for our friend Lavender Lady. But there's a lot more to time travel than people realize. Like the Earth
mm-hmm.
doesn't sit in one place, right? It rotates, it moves, and we could
Yeah.
track where the Earth has been, like because we know where it's been. So we could probably go back in time, but the likelihood, because of all the uncertainties, There's all kinds of factors that could interfere with the typical path you're used to seeing the Earth follow that could interfere with the future path. So you'd have to know where the Earth is going to be at the specific date you want to go to, so that you don't, come, like Arnie does with a sphere around him. You don't end up in a wall somewhere or a rock or a mountain, right? Or not even on the planet, right? Land on the fucking moon or something. But there's all kinds of calculations that would have to be made on unpredictable trajectories. So
it
highly
makes the idea. Yeah, like the idea of going forward kind of makes the idea that everything is already predisposed, and you could therefore make a guess or an educated guess on exactly what's going to be happening at that exact moment in time that you're trying to get to.
Right.
Yeah.
But there's all kinds of factors that could change that, right? So, like, you never know. A rogue planet could come flying out of nowhere and have some gravitational effects, or who knows? There's all kinds of things that could change.
Wow. It'd be
try to predict your path. If something could change that.
It'd be big planet. What was it? Planet X. Remember during the Y2K crisis, there was the Planet X that was out there.
Oh, yeah.
2012. 2012. Oh, yeah. There's the extra planet that we've never detected ever, but it's certainly there. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Well, there's lots that we have extra planets. I'll guarantee you at some point in the future they're going to rewrite a lot of stuff, because now what do we know about all the moons that surround Saturn and Jupiter that we didn't even know about 15 years ago? So
well, I want to go to the bookstore and see one book written by one of the 2012 "The World's Going to End" types recanting the book that they wrote in 2012.
That would be cool. That'd be funny as fuck.
Yeah, I'd buy it. Like page 1. Sorry. Fucked up. Start over again.
Yeah. Did you ever listen
I'd buy that book.
Yeah, to see, like, you mean like an apologetic type book, like where they're apologizing for their miscalculations?
Yeah, literally. Whoops. Yeah.
I kind of love to. You ever listen to the Art Bell show? Coast to Coast AM?
Not ringing any bells. Nope.
No. Well, I used to listen to it back in the 90s when I kind of believed in that aliens and stuff were living among us and all kinds of other weird shit, ghosts and whatnot. What do you call it? Astral travel, remote viewing. They have all kinds of weird shit that used to come up on the show, and he would have guests on.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So, where the hell was I going with this? But anyway, he wrote a book called The Quickening. And sure as shit, some of the stuff that he wrote about in there, one of the things that he wrote about was the possibility of some kind of contagion breaking out and having people having to walk around with masks on, and so he kind of predicted that a little bit. Not exactly to what we have now, but the idea was there, that there was some outbreak of some kind that would make people have to socially isolate and have. And he also did one that I thought would more than likely going to happen is the pollution levels would get so bad that there would be oxygen stations all over the place, and people would have to stop and take a few hits of oxygen and then carry on, right? Or which is kind of cool. But I think that you just have your own portable one you can carry around and take a hoot here and there.
Kind of wonder if he was kind of. Let's say, I kind of wonder if he was kind of spitballing back then, or was recognizing that about every 50 years, some big disease hits that, like that just kind of hits the whole planet around. I don't want to say it's cyclic, but it's not unusual.
No, I mean, lots of viruses out there. Who knows what the fuck is trapped under the permafrost too, right?
Yeah, well, we should dig it up to find out. Because that's smart.
No. No.
Yeah, we found a lake under Antarctica. We should pull some water up and see what's in it. Have you never watched a horror movie? Ever? Like
the Grudge Girls down there.
Like the headline soon is going to hit, like, all Arctic expedition members found dead.
Yeah.
Come on. Yeah. Lone husky running into wilderness. Okay, we're fucked.
That reminds me of. You remember when they dug up what was it, King Tut's tomb, or when they found it and all the archaeological people died mysteriously, like the tomb was cursed. So they thought, but turns out it was bacteria that had been trapped down there.
Yeah, like some things neat, some things you should look at from a distance. Leave it alone.
Yeah. Apparently, they were dormant down there for whatever 1,000 years or something, and when they opened up the tomb, these things came back to life. So, because they can do that, I guess. There's some sort of weird viruses or bacteria.
Well, back in the 70s, when they sent, I forget what the name of the mission was, but it went to Mars to scoop up soil and essentially like hit it with a radioactive material to see what would come out. And if there were signs of life, they would have a certain result. Nothing about that smart. Like, well, we're not sure, so we should bring it back to Earth. Yeah, you guys are dumb.
Well, it was contained.
Like,
we'll give them that much. They did contain it.
Yeah. It's like, fantastic idea. Wait till we have the ability to like lock it down, see what's happening. I don't want to say that every science fiction showing science run amok is wrong or that they're right necessarily, but we do seem to have a notion as a people to just jump in with both feet and then think, did I check the depth? Really? I don't know how deep this water is.
Yeah, that's why now with the rovers and shit that they got over there, they actually do all the lab experiments there. They do them all there and send the reports.
Yeah, I watched the one that landed on Mars. I watched that like in real time, and that was one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
Yeah. I'm actually watching right now. I just kind of stumbled on it on Disney Plus, on the National Geographic. They found another, like Stonehenge. They found another ring that showed up during the drought. Showed up during the drought in Ireland from last year. They had that drought, and the weird thing was the soil from where all these stone monuments or wooden pillars or whatever the hell it was had left the ground a little deeper, so there was more moisture down below than above. So that's how all the green patches on the farmland show the form of the monolith stuff. So they now know that there was something there because of the way the plants grew. Some plants had more moisture, others didn't, right? So it was kind of cool.
I love whenever I go to the UK, I try to drop by, like various dig sites, and it's amazing where you can get behind the velvet rope when you got a kilt on, which is the international key to the back room.
Man. I need a kilt now because I was at Stonehenge and they wouldn't let us anywhere fucking near it. So
yeah, I've walked around the stones and stuff, and that was cool as hell. I've been got onto some different dig sites around Yorkshire and that, and right there looking into that was just super neat. It's like in Canada, like 150 years in Canada is nothing, but that's a lot of history for Canada. But over the UK, 150 years, like the first 3 feet of soil, they don't care about. Like, oh look, this is only 600 years here. Yeah, we don't care. We want to get down to the couple thousands. Yeah, that's the good stuff.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, there's more history here too. It's 150 years of colonization is what that is. So
yeah. Well,
there's tons of history before that.
Yeah. Well, they found some neat stuff up in the Haida Gwaii area that's now resetting the timetables for a lot of stuff, and that's cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
I watched a special that was hosted by Robbie Robertson called Native America, and it talks about how all the groups of people that came down, all of them in North and South America, they're all related to those first peoples that came down. There were some later influences of other folks that came by boats, along the southern parts and into South America and North America a little bit too, and then a little bit of mingling. But those people are all connected.
Yeah.
So, and it goes back way longer than they thought. So
yeah. Well, like the history, heritage-wise, like I'm Scottish and Native by heritage. So I often joke that half my family came, here on a boat, and the other half was here waiting for them to show up. But when I had my DNA done, and you can see like the matrilineal line where it goes, and then the paternal line goes up through Siberia, hangs a hard turn, crosses, and comes all the way down into the like we're part of the Wendat people in southern Ontario, and it's
Okay, cool.
seeing the lines. It's like we think the world's really really big, but it's not. No, in a
Not
grand
really.
scheme, there's not that much separation between any of us.
Nope. No, you go back far enough, we all have the big ancestor that we all came from. So yeah, there's a new map that was drawn recently. Another new map that was drawn recently about the humans coming into existence and how they diversified out across the globe too. And there's all kinds of different lines everywhere. It's just crazy, but they definitely know for sure that. They definitely know for sure that it was the East Africa, like a northern Eastern Africa area that human civilization was born, as we know as Homo sapiens.
Yeah, imagine all those people coming from just two people.
Yeah, no, no. Considering there's other shit about that kind of bugs me too. It depends on which version of Genesis you read, I guess, but there was other people too, because Cain was booted out and he went to the land of Nod where there were other people.
Yeah, like we just left them out. We just left them out. Like, it's like, who wrote this? Well, the guy's like, we have some neighbors. We don't talk about them. We don't want to talk about those neighbors.
Those are the ones that weren't created by God. Like what?
A kid went and moved over there. Why?
Yeah.
Well, he was a bit of a jerk. He did some stuff. We're not proud of it. Did he understand that what he did was wrong?
Hillbilly needs another kilt, man.
Get me up, brother. I'll fix you.
I hear that the other people, Keith Richards was there. That's where he used to live.
Yeah. Wait, Adam and Eve were actually just Keith and Betty White.
Yeah, that's right. Keith Richards. There's a funny meme I see all the time. Lots of people in chat have heard me talk about this one, but it's got a picture of Adam and Eve, and Adam and God are talking. It's like, oh yeah, thanks, Eve. That's great. Thanks. I have someone here, but who the hell's that? And God was like, I don't know. He was here when I got here. And it's a picture of Keith Richards, right? So.
Oh yeah. They got to check out, between him and Ozzy, check their DNA and find out why they're not dead. Just between the lives they've lived and the stuff I know they've put in their systems, come on, well, there's some good chemistry there.
When I met Ozzy, he wasn't quite that far gone. I met him in '91, I think. He was in Richmond, British Columbia, of all places. That's where they did some of the recordings of the album that they came out that we now know as No More Tears and stuff like that.
Okay.
So yeah, and he was at I was working at Sam the Record Man at Richmond Center, and what's his name? Zach Wilde, his guitar player at the time, who I didn't recognize right away because he had greasy blonde hair and fucking bell bottoms on. It was '91. Nobody wore bell bottoms in '91, and just ripped up shirt, and he's digging through the bargain tapes and stuff like that. And ultimately, he ended up picking up 2 cassettes when they still had cassettes, kids.
Yep.
One was Stevie Nicks' Greatest Hits, and the other one was Archangels, which, by the way, is a fucking phenomenal album. It's a Ry Cooder side project. If you like bluesy rock type stuff, that's an amazing album, Archangels. And he bought the 2 of them, and then he throws down this fucking it was a platinum Visa or something. That's Zachary Philip Wilde. I'm like, looking, I go, wait a minute, like
what?
Guitar player? Like, yeah, that's me. I go, holy shit, dude, what are you doing here? Then he told me why they were here. I said, oh, is Ozzy here with you? He's like, yeah, he's over at the Muffins having a coffee and a muffin. I said, all right, Steve, I'm taking my coffee break. And I went over there and I shook hands and met Ozzy for a couple minutes. And, yeah, pretty cool.
He was like, I have a demo tape. Can you take my demo tape?
Oh, no, I wasn't actually in a band at that time. I was like between bands at the time. So
when I did the debate against the four rock, we were debating Killer of Giants.
Mm-hmm.
And the Christian teacher was like, this is all, the whole song is about the devil. Like, dude, really? Like, wow. Like, I'm like 16 and you're so wrong you don't even know that you're wrong. Like, you don't it's literally starts off talking about the weapons of war. Yes, but that's how the great evil is Satan, and the weapons of war are his mess. Oh, come on.
Stop. Just stop.
Yeah.
You're only digging
And
yourself deeper.
And coming from that, that indoctrinated background, that sense of how dare you like argue with an elder? He's older and obviously smarter. And you're like, every part of me knows you're wrong, but I still feel bad about trying to prove you're wrong. And yeah, like, God, I hate my life right now. But come on.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's for sure. Oh shit, I was gonna say something I completely forgot. I hate it when this happens, man.
We got talking Ozzy. It happens every time.
Yeah. Ozzy's great. Yeah, sound the recommend. Yeah, the one on Young and Dundas. Yeah, that's in Toronto. I'm on the West Coast.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I'm not in the center of Canada, or center of the universe, as they like to call themselves.
Oh yeah,
I have been to that store. I was the assistant manager of the one in Richmond, and the manager and I flew out for the managers conference. This is back in '92, I think. So I've been to that store. It's no longer there, by the way.
That's right.
However, they did rescue the old sign, and they have it up somewhere else now, I think. Yes, they put
that there. Was an icon, Yonge Street.
Historical icon.
Yeah, that's how you knew where you were in Toronto.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was often a meeting place. Oh, we'll meet under the Sam sign, because you can't miss the fucking thing. It's like 900 feet long, almost.
Right?
It's huge.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, no, I've seen the sign. I've touched the sign, if you will. I leaned out the the window that they have over to the side there and actually touched it. So yeah, that store is amazing. It's huge, that store.
Mm-hmm. I haven't been back there in 20 plus years.
5 fucking floors or something on that thing.
Yeah, it was monstrous.
And each was monstrous. Had its own type of music. You had like the dance and hip hop. You had this rock. You had the hip hop and new. You had like rock and new wave. You had all kinds of stuff. Jazz and blues on the floor. Classical had its own fucking floor because there's so much of that. So yeah, great store.
Well, now you got the Metallica Black Album being played on classic rock stations. So
I'm hearing Nirvana on rock 101 or whatever. That's our classic rock station.
That's
pain. Rock 101
makes my back hurt thinking about it.
Yeah. Although I do listen to one of the island stations, the Q, quite a bit.
Yeah, we play that in our shop.
Yeah. That's right. Well, I don't know, bud. What do you say we kind of wrap this up? We can. Are you good for the after party?
Hey, I got all the time you want. I mean, we've drifted. We've covered some ground.
we definitely have. You and I are. I know it's not really polite to ask how old somebody is, but I'm guessing you're pretty close to my age.
Yeah, I'm scratching the undernut of 50 right now.
Oh, okay. So you're getting there. I'm actually 55 myself, but technically,
of course, it's like
you're a Gen Xer like me, then.
Yeah. Well, I put 20 years as a combat soldier. It puts the mileage on in a hurry.
True enough. Well, first of all, I guess thanks for your service too. By the way, I had another fella who's ex-service that kind of got mad at me because I had this idea of making. Well, you see my little logo right down there. That's kind of got the Canadian flag in the background. It's what looks like a Canadian flag. And a friend of mine wanted to. He made me like this sort of like a waving Canadian flag, but it had my image where the maple leaf usually is. And this guy I said, "What do you guys think of this?" And somebody just flipped out on me, saying that it was all disrespectful. Like, whoa, dude! It's just an idea. I'm not keeping it, right? And he ended up unfollowing me and everything. I'm like, dude, relax. It's
okay. I'm a vet, and I don't get being a vet doesn't give me the right to gatekeep patriotism.
Right.
The flag's been used on everything. You know what I mean? Like, they use the flag as a background for all kinds of things, good and bad. Do what you want with it.
Yep.
You know, it's like.
What about the green version with a marijuana
like, make a
leaf
flag.
instead of the...
Right. Oh, there's flag with a heart. There's a flag with the marijuana leaf. There's a flag with just about everything under the sun under it. Oh,
The
but
pride
you're going to put your image with. Yeah, like, oh, you're going to put your image with, flanked by a couple red bars. How dare you? Fuck off.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he kind of tore into me for that, and I'm like, dude, relax. Okay. I ended up having my friend design one that my logo looked like a little coin that spins, and I put that in front of the flag. So, what you see in the opening of the show, right? So that was just kind of cool.
Yeah, like we did our logo. We did a Scottish thistle with maple leaves coming off the stem. So
nice.
Yeah.
All right. Neil is just a pup. I'm 6. Oh, I'm 55. I'm almost not a pup. And Lordship Mayhem also says, also ex-service. Well, thank you, sir, for your service as well, Lordship Mayhem.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're going to wrap this one up. It's a little earlier than usual, but hello, Dallas. We're going to get into an after party. If you're interested in coming and hanging out with Jackson and myself, please let me know through the Twitter Messenger or Facebook Messenger or whatever. I have them both open currently. If you can't do that, my email is in the description box below. Also, the link to the after party is in the description box below, and the links where you can stalk Jackson over here if you feel so inclined to do so. But other than that, Jackson, man, great having you on, dude. Another local boy comes on the show, which I love.
Yeah, well, it was great being here. Like, I don't bring any great worldly wisdom, but I bring a little bit of humor, and I'm happy to talk about anything for as long as I can, talk about it.
Oh yeah, for sure. And we'll do some more of that in the after party as well. You guys know all the routines. First and foremost, hang on, let me find all this stuff here. There we go. Thank you to everyone in the chat for over on YouTube and Twitch and Twitter for hanging out. I appreciate all you guys doing that. And thanks to my amazing patrons. As the little banner says, my show really is nothing without you guys. So I love all that you guys do for me. I appreciate it very much. Well, actually, no. You know what? I got all the links to all the stuff that I do other than this down below in the description box. So if you're unfamiliar with that stuff, go check it out, because I also do the nonprofits. And we were doing Atheists Drinking Out Loud. I'm not sure. It's kind of on hiatus at the moment. So we'll see how that goes. And of course, the True North Talk call-in show, which is coming soon, that I've been saying for 2 years now. Coming soon. But that's it, guys. But like I always say at the end of these shows, like the late, great Christopher Hitchens once said, it's called faith because it's not knowledge. And we'll see you guys at the after party. Oh, see, this is why I have a producer, so I don't screw shit up. Anyway, here we go, guys.
No, I'm leaving. Seriously, leaving now.